opening week in Major League Baseball, and oh, what a sight! The diamonds, the decorations, and the beginning of yet another losing season in T-Town for the Mud Hens. While we begin the Major League season with controversy. Torpedo bats. You hear my take about those tonight. The Tigers can't find a way to win in L.A. Get swept by the Dodgers. The Guardians fall 2-3 to the Royals, and the Reds fall to Danny Tanner's San Francisco Giants, while the Mudhens fall 2-3 to the Columbus Clippers. The Jackets. Oh, the Jackets. Huge win Friday night against Vancouver, but can't get the job done on Hockey Night in Canada, while the Fish keep rolling in Florida, splitting the series against the Everblades. They now head to Indy and Bloomington before they come back home as the rodeo trip and the NCAA trip continues. And the Frozen Four comes to the Huntington Center. You'll hear my opinion about how it went Thursday, as well as we have an upset in the NCAA tournament. And the Final Four is set. San Antonio has 4 number ones headed to the dance. All that and the back pages on this edition of All Andy Alfred tonight, right here on the Riverside Podcast Network with the All Andy Alfred Network, live on YouTube as well as on the plethora of platforms right here on the All Andy Alfred Network. And I love you guys. And welcome into another edition of All Andy Alfred right here on your exclusive home for me. That is with the All Andy Alfred Network on the Riverside Podcast Network. And you're listening to me and watching me on the different platforms, the plethora of platforms with the All Andy Alfred Network, whether it be on Apple Music, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, Bleaker, however you listen to the show, wherever and whenever you listen to the podcast. Thank you. From the bottom of my heart, thank you for tuning into the show tonight. As you can always be a part of our show by following us on Twitter. It is at All Andy Alfred. It is at All Andy Alfred, as well as Facebook.com/All Andy Alfred, as well as on YouTube. We are on YouTube. These shows go live on YouTube as well. And welcome to the show today on this, the last day of March 31st, 2025. And welcome into the show. And welcome in on this Monday edition of the podcast. First and foremost, before we continue on, I want to thank my guests, Lucas Sigurdsson, as well as Robert Logan Carr, the Logie Bear, for our MLB preview edition. You got a chance to listen to that. If you haven't gotten a chance to listen to it, go back and listen to it on the spot with either Spotify, Apple Music, Google Podcasts. It's a 2-hour podcast. We broke down everything. We went over the over-unders, what we think, who is going to lift the Commissioner's Trophy, who's going to win it. To give you a quick recap, Lucas has got Boston versus Philadelphia with his Phillies winning the World Series. Logan's got the Mets taking on the Red Sox with the Mets winning. And I have Baltimore and the Mets in the World Series with the Mets winning as well. So that's a little bit of a spoiler, but go back and listen to that podcast. It's a really good podcast. Now, a lot of you have been asking as well that have been watching the podcast on YouTube and saw that we're doing the shows live on YouTube, putting them on YouTube after the podcast is done. And a lot of you have asked, where is that video footage? We're trying our best to edit it down with the 2-hour window that we have with this podcast. We can go as long with the audio as we want to. But the problem is with the video production wise, the video kept cutting in and out for certain sections. So we are deciding we're not going to post the video version of the podcast. Unfortunately, with the amount of editing that we've done with it, it doesn't look good enough for us. So it should not look good for you. So we are going to scrap the video version of that show and stick with the audio version, because tape don't lie when it comes to the baseball preview edition. But again, I want to thank Logan and I want to thank Lucas for coming on the podcast. We'll have Lucas on later on this month in April to preview the first Saturday in May, the Kentucky Derby, of course. That's one of our favorite things to talk about, the Derby Day, and to preview all things horse racing on that day as well. So there's that for you. Lots to get into tonight. Of course, we have our golf segment presented by Scramble Stick. We'll break down the PGA as well, the LPGA as well. We'll look at the Final Four. It is set in San Antonio. We have number ones headed the way. We'll also look at the Bracket Challenge. Also, we'll hit the pond and take a look at the walleye as well, and we'll also hit the back pages and the Theater Weekly as well on this edition of All Andy Alfred. And let's start first and foremost with what these three teams have done above us in the last 72 hours on the diamond. And we'll first start in baseball with the Tigers. I'm not going to get too upset about the Tigers. You know, going into this series, it was going to be a tough test for the Tigers, especially with the fact that you're playing the defending champions who are starting off the season 2-0. They're starting 2-0 to start the season. So you knew ahead of time it was going to be an uphill battle. But Thursday night's game, opening night in Dodger Stadium at the championship with the banner raising, you kind of figured that it was going to be in favor of the Dodgers. And and Scooble going out on the bump, he does a great job, but it was a tough test for him. Tough test. They battled back as much as they could in this game, and they can't get the job done. They fall to the Dodgers 5-4 in the home opener for the Dodgers at Chavez Ravine. The start of the season for the Tigers, they go to 0-1 to start the season. Snell gets the win. He goes to 1-0 with a 3.60 ERA. Scuba lost. He goes to 0-1 with a 7.20 ERA. Tehran gets the save in the game. The Tigers 4 runs on 9 hits, no errors. The Dodgers 5 runs, 7 hits, no errors in the game. In this one, looking at quickly at the box score from opening day for the Tigers on opening day, you kind of figured, with Ohtani and Betts and the rest of the crew, you kind of figured that they were going to be power hitting in this game, and they kind of showed off a little bit in this. They definitely showed off a bit in this, and it was an interesting game. It was very, very interesting. I see a lot of bright spots with the Tigers in this game. I saw a lot of bright spots with opening day with Detroit. The way that they hung with it, they battled, and they're showing us. They have showed us in these last few games. They're not a pushover. They're definitely not a pushover when it comes to what last season, how last season ended. So, yeah, I mean, the Tigers getting the loss on opening day. They then lose again on Friday. My system just absolutely crashes on me right here. Here we go. My apologies. Gotta love technology, folks. Then Friday night, the Tigers were in action. Gotta love technology. Gotta love technology. Tigers were in action against the Dodgers. They get swept by the Dodgers basically the whole weekend. They come back, tie it again. The Saturday game for me was the interesting one. You take the Friday night's game was an interesting one. You take the lead in the 10th inning, and you let them come back in the bottom of the 10th inning. Not only to just let them come back in the game, but then have Mookie Betts walk it off with a 3-run bomb. That was a stinker. Losing it game in extras 8-5. Breezy the loss. He goes to 0 with a 27 ERA. Garcia the win. He goes to 1-0 with a 9 ERA in that one on Friday. Saturday saw action for the Tigers and the Dodgers, and it was not a good sight yet again. Tigers fall to the Dodgers 7-3. Olsen the loss. He goes to 0-1 with a 7.71 ERA. Bannon gets the win. He goes to 1-0 with a 0 ERA. Then you get to the Sunday game. You figured that Detroit would figure out a way to battle back in this series to at least get one game. One game. If you can beat the champions one time, and you got an easy road. But unfortunately, it was not the case. They lose on Saturday, and then they did not play on Sunday. And they get swept in the series, 3-0 against the Dodgers. Now they can move on. They head now to the Great Northwest. They'll head into Seattle for this big 4-game series starting tonight, 9:05 first pitch for this one. It will be the debut, the start of Jackson Jobe. I'm looking forward to seeing how Jobe performed. He looked good in the exhibition game against San Francisco before the Dodgers series. He looked good in that outing. I like everything he's dealing, so I'm going to be watching that. 9:40 is first pitch. It'll be Hancock for Seattle starting. Both players, no record as of yet, and no ERA as of yet. On Tuesday, the series will continue on for the Tigers, as the Tigers will throw out on the bump in Seattle. Another 9:40 start time. It'll be Casey Mize on the bump. He is 0-0 with a 0 ERA. He'll be facing Gilbert, who is 0-0 with a 1.29 ERA. The concluding game on Wednesday for the Tigers will be an afternoon affair in Seattle. It will be a 4:10 start, 1:10 start time in Seattle. It'll be Skubal on the bump, 0-1 with a 7.20 ERA. He'll take on Luis Castro, who's 0-1 with a 3.60 ERA. And then opening day in Detroit will be Friday as they welcome in the Chicago White Sox for a 3-game series. Both teams have not yet named starters. 1:10 start time for that one on Friday afternoon, Saturday afternoon, and then Sunday afternoon against the White Sox in that affair. So the Tigers falling to the Dodgers in a sweeping pattern. They get swept by the Dodgers. And now we'll play the Seattle Mariners for a quick 3-game series. So they'll be headed up to Fraser Crane Country this week for the series against the Mariners. Well, now let's take a look at the Reds. The Reds had home opening day in Red Lake Country as they welcomed in the San Francisco Giants for a pivotal 3-game series to open up the series. And the Reds fell in the opener to the Giants 6-4. Gilbert, the loss, he goes to 0 with a 54 ERA. Rogers, the win, he goes to 1-0 with a 0 ERA. Walker, the save, as the Giants beat the Reds 6-4 on opening day on the 27th. They then did not play on Friday the 28th. They got back on the bump on Saturday. And you figured that the Reds would, play well. And they did. Loto gets the win. He goes to 1-0 with a 3 ERA. Blevins the loss. He goes to 0-1 with a 9 ERA. Payan the save, his first of the season, as the Reds get a 3-2 win over the San Francisco Giants to get back to 500. But then on Sunday, it was not the case, as it was the Giants getting the better of the Reds by the score of 6-3 at Great American Ballpark. The Reds, Martinez, the loss, he goes to 0-1 with a 6 ERA. The Reds had 3 runs on 5 hits, 2 errors in the game, which were costly. Giants 6 runs on 7 hits, no errors in the game. As Robbie Ray gets the win, he goes to 1-0 with a 5.06 ERA. Duvall gets the save for that one. The Reds are now playing the Texas Rangers. That first pitch was at 6:40 this afternoon. They're actually starting right now, and the Reds are dominating right now. Bottom of the second inning, they're up 6-0 on the Texas Rangers. We'll give you a score update further on. The Reds 6 runs on 7 hits, no errors. The Rangers no runs on 1 hit, 1 error in the game. So they will play the Rangers for the next 3 nights, tonight, tomorrow, and Wednesday. Then they will head to Milwaukee for a 4-game series with the Brew Crew in that affair. Now let's get to the Guardians. The Guardians are had a huge series as well too to open up. They were in Kansas City to start the series with the Kansas City Royals, and the Royals getting the better of the Guardians on opening day on the 27th by the score of the Guardians winning on opening day 7-4 in that affair. The Guardians getting the huge win there, a huge win for them to start the season off. And you figure that you're playing these division rivals early on in the season. It's going to help you later on down the road. And for me, the fact is that this team has got a problem. And that is now the injury of Jose Ramirez. That is a big blow, a huge blow to this organization. And I know you can't expect this early on with the injuries that have been as of late, but this is a big blow. This is a huge blow to the Guardians to start the season. To have him go down this early tells you something right there. The Guardians are winners 7-4. It was Clase gets the win. He goes to 1-0 with a 9 ERA. Long the loss. He goes to 0-1 with the 18 ERA. Seawall the save in that one on opening day on the 27th. We then move on in their series as they kept playing the Royals on Saturday the 29th. And the Guardians falling to the Royals in that game in extra innings. In the 9th inning with Jonathan India having the walk-off hit as they win 4-3. The Royals winning 4-3 over the Guardians. Lynch the win, he goes to 1-0 with a 0 ERA. Seawall the loss, he goes to 0 with a 10.80 ERA. Estevez the save, his first of the season. The concluding game on Sunday sees the Guardians falling to the Kansas City Royals on Sunday. Oh, actually, they won Sunday. Excuse me. My apologies. They took 2 of 3 from the Royals. So my apologies. My apologies to the Guardians. They win 6-2. BB the win. He goes to 1-0 with the 0 ERA. Walker the loss. He goes to 0 with the 2.25 ERA. The Guardians 6 runs on 11 hits, 1 error. The Royals 2 runs on 5 hits, no errors in that one. Now the Guardians will then hit the road. They will continue the road trip as they are now out in San Diego for a 3-game series with the Padres. It will be Ortiz on the bump tonight for Cleveland. He has no record as of yet. And Hart for the Padres. 9:40 first pitch for that one. Tuesday sees them playing in San Diego as well. 9:40 first pitch for that one. It'll be Allen versus King. King with a 10.13 ERA in that affair. And then Wednesday, the concluding game of the series, will see the Guardians throw on the bump at 4:10. Levy, who's 0-0 with a 5.40 ERA, will face on Dylan Cease, who's 0-0 with a 6.23 ERA. 4:10 first pitch for that one. The Guardians then will come back to Cleveland will continue the road trip. They'll head back to LA to battle the Angels for a 3-game series there. I want to say it's a 3-game. I might say it's a 4-gamer. Don't quote me on that. I'm going to double check it here for you guys. It is a 3-game series with the Angels, and then they will come home to play the White Sox for the home opener the following week. So it is Padres, then Angels, and then back home to Progressive Field. So there is that for you guys. Today, other games happening around Major League Baseball, of course. as we're on the air right now. Mets and Marlins are tied at 1 in the bottom of the third. It is the Pirates and the Rays tied at 0. Toronto and the Nationals tied at 0, top of the second inning. Cardinals and Angels getting ready to start here at 8:10. It'll be the Giants in Houston to battle the Astros. Cubs and Athletics at 10:05. The home opener for the Athletics in the Sacramento A's begin their journey at 10:05 tonight. And at 10:10, the Braves will take on the Dodgers. We had a couple day games today. Of course, home opener for the Brewers. The Brewers fall to the Royals today 11-1. The Brewers fall to 0-4 to start the season. The Phillies getting a 3-1 win over the Rockies, are now 3-1 over the Rockies, 3-1 overall, with a 6-1 win over the Rockies today. The Red Sox can't find a way. They're 1-4 to start the season. They beat the Orioles 8-5. The Orioles beat the Red Sox 8-5 in this game, and the White Sox are at 500 right now. 500. They're at 500 with a 9-0 win over the Twins today, and at Guaranteed Rate Field. So there is Major League Baseball for you guys. The Mud Hens fell 2-3 to the Clippers, by the way, over the weekend at Fraction Field. And let me tell you about opening day. Now, opening day was a fantastic day. Even though it started off raining, it was raining to start with. Great crowd on hand. 12,800 in attendance at opening day on Friday, getting the chance to sit up in the upper deck with my wife as well as my brother-in-law, Roberto. First time getting he gets a chance to sit upstairs to watch this game watch closer to the action, because he's used to sitting out in the outfield with the games because he takes his puppy out to bark in the park. So getting a chance, he was asking questions and everything like that, and I was gladly answering all his questions and helping him out, and it was a fun afternoon. I will say it did rain a little bit between the bottom of the first inning and through the top of the second inning, mid-second inning. It rained, and then it finished up, and it got warm, and it got dry, and it was perfect. It was absolutely perfect. So I'm just glad that opening day went off without a hitch. The Mud Hens battled in the game, but unfortunately they lost 8-5. They lost on Saturday. They did pick up the win yesterday afternoon, but now they will hit the road for 5 days before coming back to play the Iowa Cubs for 6 days at Fraction Field. So we look forward to the Cubs coming into town at Fifth Third Field going forward. And I will say this: there was a lot of fans that didn't make their way to the seats, and I had some people ask me, "Well, is opening day for the Mud Hens a big event?" It always is. It's the biggest party in downtown Toledo. It's the biggest party of Toledo as a whole, because you've had all winter. You've gone to walleye games, of course, and it's just been a small crowd. This is the biggest party of the season. You're going to see the most amount of people downtown for this big event. And the bars were packed, the restaurants were packed, parking lots were jammed. That's why Eddie George was late. He didn't throw out the first pitch. He had to do the game ball delivery, and it was great to see Eddie George at that. And I have a thing about the AD here in just a second for Bowling Green here in just a second, and I'll get to that here in just a minute about that. But great to see that, and no flyover, but I can understand that. I can understand why, so that's fine. So baseball fully underway. You better get ready for a brand new day, because baseball is here to stay, and Andy's going to talk it his way. As you're listening and watching All Andy Alfred tonight, right here on the All Andy Alfred Network, whether it be on Apple Music, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, Bleaker, however you're listening, wherever and whenever you're listening, thank you for tuning into the show tonight. And let's talk a little hockey. Let's talk about the Jackets. Friday night. Let's talk about Friday. Let's talk. What do you want to talk about Friday? All right. So Friday night, the Jackets welcomed in the Vancouver Canucks to Nationwide Arena. Huge game for the Jackets, coming off of the huge win in the Isle to beating the Islanders on Monday night. Huge win. You get to Friday night against Vancouver. Now, Vancouver is battling for a playoff spot out in the West. Columbus is battling for the wild card spot in the East. 3-0 Vancouver after 20 minutes of play. And I will admit this to you folks. I was at the Mud Hen game. I came home, started to watch that game, and I turned it off after 3-0. I said, it's over. It's over. And then the rally began. They came back to tie the game at 3-3 before Vancouver scores in the period to end the period to make it 4-3 after 40 minutes of play. And I'm saying to myself, should I go back to watching this game? Because the 3 goals that they scored, I wasn't watching. Should I go back to watch this game? I said, no, I'll turn it off. I'll stay it off. I'll keep it off. And, that's not what I usually do. I usually watch the game through and through. I'm glad I turned it off. Jackets come back, take the lead. Vancouver battles back, takes the lead back. And then the Jackets tie it up to force overtime to get the point. And they get the point that they need. They need every point that we get. And we mentioned it on the podcast. The Jackets need as many points as they can get going down the stretch. Get to overtime, battling it out, can't get it done. They go to the shootout, and Elvis stands on his head, and they get the win in a shootout, and they win 7-6 over the Vancouver Canucks, getting the much-needed win and propelling them into the second wild card position. Now, we get to Saturday. I watched the game fully on Saturday. Now, I had some notes. I wrote down some notes here in this game about this game. I wrote notes in this one. Okay. I circled it at the beginning of the game before it even began. This is a must win. This is a must win. Big time game, big time market. And I wrote HNIC, Hockey Night in Canada, because it was a hockey night in Canada as the Columbus Blue Jackets traveled to the north of the border to the capital city of Ottawa, Ontario, Canada, to battle the Senators. The Senators holding the top spot in the wild card spot right now, holding the top spot strong. Top spot strong in the wild card position. Columbus then battles Vancouver in Vancouver, and it was a huge battle. Absolutely huge battle. Columbus battles it out as Vancouver jumped out to the early 1-0 lead, with Riley Craig getting his 12th of the season from Shabbat and Pino. At the 7:24 mark of the first period, it's 1-0 Vancouver, and you're thinking to yourself, you're battling. You just had a battle the night before against Vancouver. Can we do this again? And we do it again. Boone Jenner gets his 5th of the campaign. It was a beauty of a shot. Comes right down the zone for Werenski and Matejchuk. It's 1-1 Jackets. But then Ottawa comes back. Drake Batterson gets his 21st of the season from Cousins and Zuba at the 14:06 mark of the period. Even strength. And it's 2-1 Vancouver after 20 minutes of play. So I'm thinking to myself, okay, we're down 1. We're down 1. I'm reading here. We're down 1. We're still in this game. Elvis is still Tarasov. Scary Terry is doing well in the pipes. We need to back him up on defense. That's what I wrote down here. And I wrote down on the Jenner. I wrote Jenner goal. Rich banger of a shot for Jenner. Good to see him get on the scoreboard after what happened the night before. It was good to see him get on the scoreboard. We get to the second period. Jake Richardson gets his 8th of the campaign. I wrote down Sanderson bearing it past Terry. Couldn't do anything about that one. It's 3-1 Ottawa after 40 minutes of play. We get to the third, and I write in huge, just like shoot, and that's what they had to do. They had to keep peppering. They had to keep peppering the goaltender. They had to keep peppering him. If they kept peppering peppering the goaltender, if they kept peppering him, if they kept peppering Olmark, they were going to get goals. And sure enough, they did, as Kirill Marchenko gets his 28th of the season from Zach Werenski, and Zach Werenski's 52nd assist of the season. 52nd assist of the season. How is he not in consideration for the Hart Trophy? How is he not in consideration for the Hart Trophy? Please answer me that. It's 3-2. Columbus then pulls the goalie with 3 minutes and change to go. Can't capitalize. This one's done. And we couldn't capitalize. Had an opportunity at the end, but unfortunately couldn't get it done. Jackets fall in Ottawa 3-2. They outshot the Senators in the game 30-27. Ottawa led in the faceoff dot 62% to 38%. Both teams were over on the power play. Columbus out hit in the game 23-22. Columbus dominating in the shots in the third and the first period, but they can't beat Olmark. 3 stars of the game were Craig was the number 1 star, Pinto the number 2 star, Jake Anderson the number 3 star in the game in Ottawa, in the state, in the nation's capital. They fall 3-2 in that one. So now the Jackets, but that loss fell out, and with the Rangers getting a huge win, have now pushed the Jackets out of the wild card position. Montreal holds the second wild card position via the tiebreaker over the Rangers at 77 points. The Rangers have 77 points. Columbus has 75 points. The Red Wings have 74 points, and the Islanders have 74 points. Pittsburgh on the outside is at 71 points. The top 3 spots, the top 2 teams make the spot. There's 2 spots, 1 spot guaranteed right now. I think it's the Ottawa Senators. I think they're going to move up. They're going to get the wild card, that first wild card position. It's between basically 5 teams for 1 spot. We're going to be battling to the end. We've got 2 weeks left of this season. 2 weeks left in this season, ladies and gentlemen. And it's coming down to the end. It's coming down to the end. Today, of course, the Stars are winning 5-1 over the Kraken. The Devils are hosting Minnesota. They're up 1-0 on that. The Predators and Flyers are just underway. John Tortorella fired by the Philadelphia Flyers. He's no longer their coach. Calgary and Colorado tonight, 8:30 puck drop for that one. Tomorrow, a huge slate of games. And here's why I say that. Here's a huge slate of games. Jackets are home tomorrow night to play the Nashville Predators. 7 o'clock drop at the Schwide. Panthers are in Montreal to battle the Canadiens. The Panthers need points because they're basically giving the division back over to Toronto. Senators are hosting Buffalo. Islanders are hosting the Lightning. Huge game for the Lightning in that one, too, and a huge game for the Islanders as well. Detroit is in St. Louis, and St. Louis is as hot as a roll at Texas Roadhouse right now. They are on fire. 6 straight wins in a row for the St. Louis Blues. They got to keep going. They'll be hosting Detroit. Detroit needing points as well, too. And that is the big games there. Wednesday sees the Rangers hosting Minnesota and the Panthers hosting the Leafs. And then the next game after that, Columbus hosts the Colorado Avalanche on Thursday at Nationwide Arena. Huge game for that. Montreal hosts Boston. Ottawa's hosting Tampa Bay. And yeah, that's pretty much the games that needed hand. The overall, here's why I say this, because Columbus has played 72 games. The Rangers have played 74. Columbus has 2 games at hand against the Rangers. They have 1 game at hand against Montreal. Montreal's played 73 games. Columbus has played 72. So we have games at hand to help us out. And the games at hand on Sunday were so needed. I mean, Friday was so needed to get that point, to get those 2 points. That was key, absolutely key. And now we have Monahan back. We have Sillinger back. We have all the right pieces at the right time. It's lining up that we can get it. Now, do we want to get the second wild card spot, get bounced in the first round, possibly by Washington? It could happen. It might happen. But to get there, and for the amount of people that have castrated and pushed this team out, and how much this team has rallied because of it, what is there to say? That the Jackets need to get into the playoffs. They will get into the playoffs if they keep playing. It starts tomorrow night with Nashville. Huge game against Colorado. And then another hockey night in Canada game on Saturday. And it is a huge one. It is a huge one. The Jackets need to get at least 4, maybe 5 points out of these next 3 games. 4 out of 5 for 5 points out of this next 3 games. And the Saturday game against Toronto, in Toronto, on Saturday, on Hockey Night in Canada, is absolutely huge. Especially how much Toronto wants to get back into the division race. I mean, Florida's, like I said, Florida's giving them the division. Florida's 44-26-3 with 91 points. Toronto, with their win the other night, now takes the top spot. 45-25-4 with 94 points. Florida wants to get in. Toronto wants to stay in the top spot. The second wildcard spot's playing Washington no matter what. Because Washington's got 103 points. Who would you rather face? Washington or Toronto? If it was me, I'd face Washington. They're a little wishy-washy when it comes to the playoffs. I'm just saying. If I was Columbus and I get a second wild card spot, I would take Washington. Because there's no way that you're going to catch Ottawa. I just don't think you're going to catch Ottawa, get that first wild card position to play Toronto in the first round. But that first round, Leafs and Senators in the first round, I like it. I like it. I like it a lot. Let's look at the Walleye. Walleye were in Florida this past weekend to take on the Florida Everblades in Esto, Florida. Huge series for that. And what happened on Wednesday, on either Tuesday or Wednesday, what happened those days, with Florida having the host game, and Chaz Johnson, the goaltender for Florida, basically saying we're gonna win another Kelly Cup. You are putting yourself at risk, my friend, for the criticism, for putting that out in nature, jinxing yourself early for that. Early. Absolutely early for that. But Friday night, the Fish made their trek down to Florida, take on the Florida Everblades, and a shutout took place. As it was Moulton getting the goal for the Fish at the 16:05 mark of the second period. That's all the scoring. The Fish dominate in the game. They win 1-0. Florida out shooting Toledo 28-18 in the game. In the game. And a sellout crowd in Estero, Florida. It's Jan Bednar, 28 of 28. Perfect. Craig, the number 3 star. Bednar, the number 2 star. Dylan Moulton, the number 1 star in the game. Moulton had the goal from Craigs and Cruz. Both teams over on the power play. Huge win. Absolutely huge win. Then you get to Saturday. And the summer breezes and the drinks and everything caught up with the Fish, as the Everblades getting the better of the Fish on Saturday evening at Hertz Arena by the score of 3-2 in the game. The Fish did have a good run. With Brandon Hawkins getting his 35th of the season for Carter Gylander, but it was Colin Thiessen getting his 19th of the season, the former Fish, from Kyle Betts jumping out to the early 1-0 lead. And then Toon Frazier getting his 13th from Israel, and Landry making it 2-0 Everblades. Colton Hargrove gets his 11th of the season for Carson Gertz, and Josh Hosang on the power play makes it a 3-1 game. Hawkins with the two-goal night, his 35th and 36th on the power play in the third period at the 9:07 mark of the period was not enough. The Fish could not bounce back. They fall in the game by the score of 3-2 in Modesto, Florida. Florida out shooting Toledo in the game 35-27. Toledo 1 for 7 on the power play. Florida 1 for 5 on the power play. Pretty clean game. A lot of hooking, but no fights in the game. Joe Frazier gets the number 1 star. Colton Hargrove, the number 2 star. Colin Thiessen gets the number 3 star in the game. For them, it was Carter Gylander starting. He stopped 32 of 35 for the Fish. For Florida, it was Cam Johnson stopping 25 of 27 in the game. 7,496 in attendance at Hertz Arena in Modesto, Florida. So there is that. So now the Fish will continue the road trip. They are now headed to Indianapolis for a big series. I believe that will start Tuesday night at Fisher's Event Center in Indianapolis. 7 o'clock puck drop for that one. And then other games in the East Coast League happening tomorrow night. Fort Wayne is in Kalamazoo, and Tulsa will go on the road to play Allen in a morning game on Tuesday. Wednesday, Orlando is in Atlanta. Traverse is in Maine. Jacksonville is in Greenville. Reading is in Norfolk, and Kansas City is hosting the Rapid City Rush. Toledo then will play again on Friday night in Bloomington to take on the Bloomington Bison on Friday night, 7 o'clock drop, 8 o'clock p.m. drop Eastern time for that one. Indy is in Fort Wayne. Cincinnati hosts Kalamazoo. Florida is in Savannah to take on the Ghost Pirates. Iowa is hosting the Norfolk Admirals in that affair. And other games on the weekend, I think those are the only 2 games that Toledo plays. Toledo does not play the rest of the weekend. After that, they will head back to the Bank Tank for games the following weekend against Fort Wayne and Indianapolis, and that's it, folks. 2 home games left in the regular season at the Bank Tank. Get your tickets, 419-725-WALL. A lot of tickets are pretty much gone. Most of the tickets that are available right now are through the standing room only section. You might find individuals here and there, but it's a hot ticket, especially the next weekend. Not this weekend, but next weekend. The anniversary of the Miracle on Main Street will be taking place. I repeat again, the Miracle on Main Street will be back at the Bank Tank. They will be honoring that team that Sunday, the final game of the homestand against Indianapolis, 5:15 puck drop for that one. So they're honoring the Miracle on Main Street. We're going to get you the list of players that are going to be there for that. I will be definitely there for the attendance for that one. You know me, I love Toledo hockey history. It's one of my favorite things to talk about here. So to see these guys come back to a city that they loved and hopefully not have a building burned down during this big celebration is a big key thing. But looking at the standings in the East Coast League, by the way, really quickly, because we're running a little bit behind. Toledo top spot They clinched the division. There's the top three spots in the division have been clinched at playoffs. Toledo can't clinch the division with the win tomorrow and a Fort Wayne loss. Toledo 42-16-8-1 with 93 points. Fort Wayne 38-20-6-1 with 83 points. Iowa 33-21 7-4 with 77 points. The fourth spot is between Bloomington and Indy right now. Bloomington 29-31 4-2 with 64 points. Indy 28-29 4-4 with 64 points. Kalamazoo 27-31 5-2 with 61 points. Cincinnati 25-31 10-0 with 60 points. If you're looking overall, quick view really quickly, league overall, if you're wondering if they're going to win the Brabham Cup, not going to happen. South Carolina, top spot, 101 points overall. Florida, 98 points. The Lions are of Rivos, 94 points. Kansas City with 93 points. Then Toledo with 93 points. They have to jump a whole bunch. I don't see it happening. I think South Carolina's got the Brabham Cup wrapped up, so that's a good sign. If you look overall, Western Conference-wise, conference overall-wise, Toledo holding in the second spot in the conference at 93 points, with Kansas City having 93 points. Lake Tahoe is very, very good this year. 40-22 4-1 with 85 points overall this season. So they're doing pretty good too. And really quickly, I wanted to double check something really quickly before continuing it over. If it comes to it, Kansas City's got the top spot in the mountain. They would play Tulsa. Lake Tahoe would play Wichita. Possibly could be doing a Kansas City Toledo rematch, or possibly could be a Lake Tahoe and Toledo. That would be awesome. Though the South is pretty much done. It's been clinched. South Carolina, Florida, Jacksonville, Orlando, they all clinched their spot. The North, it's the Lions, Wheeling have clinched their playoff spots. Norfolk and Worcester are the only two, third and fourth. And Reading is right there at 69 points. They could flip with Worcester at the end of the season. So we're running down to the end of the season in that fair. Now, really quickly, I got three more topics to talk about, 4 or 5 topics more to talk about here. I want to congratulate the Huntington Center, and I want to congratulate the Bowling Green staff, as well as the Huntington Center staff, for a terrific weekend. It was a great weekend of college hockey. If you got a chance to go down to it, I got a chance on Thursday to take in both games. Boston University versus Ohio State was a very, very good game for the majority of it. Towards the end, it turned into a pond hockey game, in my opinion. It was very, very sloppy, very, 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 very chippy at the end. You could definitely tell that, for that goal to go in like that, how can you? That I couldn't believe it. And Ohio State falling to Boston University by that score, 7-3. Man, that was terrible. And then the nightcap, you had Cornell University, Big Red, taking on the Michigan State Spartans, and you could definitely tell it was a Michigan State home game. A lot of Spartan fans, a lot of those fans came down from East Lansing to Toledo. It was a quick trip for them. And that stadium was filled with green and white, and they were chanting green and white throughout the first game. And the pep bands were there. Both pep bands were there, and shared it on my Facebook page. Go to my Facebook page. You can see all the pictures from Thursday's game. Cornell with the upset with 8.9 seconds to go in the game, scoring the game winner, beating Michigan State, who was the second-ranked team in the country. Let them in that game. And with 1:30 to go in the game, they cause a penalty. They get a penalty drawn on them. And Cornell scores with 8.9 seconds to go. I was just shocked. Go Big Red. Cornell with a huge win. Kept their season alive. And then when you looked at it, I looked at it Friday night into Saturday morning. A lot of people were selling their tickets for this event, but there was a great crowd on hand to see Boston BU and Cornell for the regional final, and BU in overtime getting the win over Cornell. BU goes on now to the Frozen Four. They're going to play they'll play Western. There's the final four teams are Western Michigan, BU. Oh my God, Penn State. And I forget what the fourth team is. I forget what the 14th is. Oh my God, it's gonna draw a blank. I'm drawing a blank on it. I'll have it looked up here in just a second. But to see the crowd on Saturday, the good crowd on hand on Saturday, was a very good blessing to me. It was very, very good, and I was just very, 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 very happy about that. Very, very happy about that. Let's see. That's going to bother me. Oh my God. I'm going to have to look it up really quickly for you guys here. 14. I just know. As soon as I see that 14. There it is. Denver. That's it. Denver versus Western Michigan and Penn State versus Boston University will be on Thursday night in St. Louis for the Frozen Four. So there's that. So Denver, I forgot it was Denver. Denver beat BU, BC, Boston College. I forgot about that. So there's that. So again, congratulations to everybody, the staff, and everything like that. And the thing is, Thursday during the second game against Michigan State and Cornell, I got a chance to talk with Eric Vanderbeek from Bowling Green State University's AD, who was greeting some of the students down below me. Came up the stairs. I shook his hand. I congratulated him for the Eddie George hire, and I'm going to announce it here as one of my back page announcements. Is that myself. I don't know if the wife will be joining me. You're looking at a guy who has season tickets now for the Bowling Green State University football team. We've got all the games this upcoming season, and looking forward to seeing Eddie George. I congratulate him on Eddie George's the hire from Eddie George. He says we have some more announcements to come about recruits. I'm excited. Like I said, I told you guys, I'm excited for this program. I'm absolutely excited for this program to see what is going to happen. To see what's going to happen with this program. I am ecstatic about it. Absolutely ecstatic about it. So there's that. And again, congratulations to everybody. And congratulations to Boston University for the big win. And I'd like to see this come more to the Huntington Center. More or less like kind of event happening coming to the Huntington Center. Because it was a perfect venue and a perfect sized crowd for this. So there's that. All right. Quick, got to give this NCAA bracket, the Final Four. All number ones going to San Antonio. Florida will play Auburn 6:09 Saturday. Florida 2.5 point favorite right now. And then Houston and Duke in the nightcap. That's around 8:49. I'm going to say that's going to be more like a 9 o'clock tip. All games on CBS. Now, looking at it bracket challenge wise, we have some controversy. I want to talk about that really quickly. Now, remember the stat that I told you at the beginning of this whole shindig. You have to have your Final Four correct and the national champion correct to win. Now, I've got a lot of people in this bracket challenge. A lot of people in this bracket challenge. And for me, it's a 16 people. I don't know any of these people. I know a few that are on here, but 49J Caps is leading it right now at 1,080 points. He can max out at 1720. The second person It's ESPN fan 52915 and change. He has 1,040 points. He can max out at 1680. The next one, JCap picks 2, 980, but he can max out at 1620. And then you have scramble sticks. We know who these people. I know the scramble stick person, but 419 J Caps leading the bracket challenge. Now remember, and he's got Florida in one of his brackets and Duke in another bracket for the national championship. Now these people have their national championships picks correct. They have them picked correct. Really quickly, yep. A lot of these people have it picked correctly. It's going to go to the point system now because of it. And also, if your team wins, it will go to points. And if your team wins the national championship, we're going to go to points because of the situation. So there's that. And if you know who you are, you're in the front running spot right now. So there's that. There is absolutely that. So, and it's been a great tournament overall, even though I will say this, Cinderella has not shown up to the stands this year, and it really hurts. It really bothers me on that. But, it is what it is. It is what it is with it. So, there's that. Plug in this as well, too. Let's talk a little golf really quickly. And that's presented by to our friends at Scramble Stick. Scramble Stick, whether you're playing in your foursome or whether you're taking the bad shot, Scramble Stick is the bright stick for you when you're on the golf course. And this is our golf update. Of course, the Texas Children's Houston Open, Min Lee gets the win at 20 under par. Gary Woodland, 19 under par. Scotty Scheffler, 19 under par. Will Clark, 15 under par in 5th position. You also had the LPGA in action this past weekend. They were down there for the Ford Championship as Han-Jun Kim in a playoff beating Lilia Vu. Both ladies at 22 under par. Both ladies winning, both 22 under par, with Kim with the win in the playoff. She'll earn $337,500. Allison Corpus is in 3rd at 21 under par. Tinder at 20 under par, and Lindy Duncan at 19 under par. Next tournament for them is the T-Mobile Match Play, which will start on April 2nd. That will be on Wednesday in Vegas. And I want to give this announcement to you folks tonight. June 26th through 29th, yours truly is headed to Midland, Michigan for the Dow Championship. We will be there for the Dow Championship. We have worked it out. It's going to happen. We'll share more details. But yes, all Andy Alfred heading to the Dow Championship in Midland, Michigan. We're going to probably be on the course on Friday for the event. Just for Friday. It's not going to be like it has been in the past with the Dana Open and with the quote unquote Toledo Classic and the Marathon Classic. This will be a one-night event for us, one-day event at the Dow, but we're going to cover the whole week for you guys right here. We'll have more details to come. So that is our golf update presented by Scramble Sticks. Theater plug for you guys, of course. I have our good friend Lee. She's doing a production right now with the Village Players over there off of Upton Avenue in Toledo, Ohio. It's called 39 Steps. Very, very good show. Highly recommended. I read the review on it. It was really, really good. That's a good show to go see. VillagePlayers.org for tickets. It runs March 28th through April 6th. Get your tickets for that show. And also, got to plug my alma mater, Toledo School for the Arts. Of course, they're having their production tomorrow night. Is called The Great Lakes. It will be an orchestra and choir concert under the direction of Jay Wellens and Jamie Dow, my good friends over there. possibly going to make it over there. We'll see what happens. We're possibly going to make it over there. But April 1st, 7 p.m. at the Black Box Theater. Tickets at ts4arts.org, or for more information, you just go on to the Toledo School for the Arts page as well. Got to plug the TSA events for you there. So it's time for the back pages tonight, of course. And I want to talk about what we're seeing in Major League Baseball, of course. If you're not aware of what's happening right now, the Yankees on Saturday broke the record, had the franchise record with 9 home runs in the game. They beat the Milwaukee Brewers by the score of 20-9 in the game on Saturday afternoon. But there has been a notice of what they are using at the plate, and they are called, these bats are in the shape of torpedoes, calling them torpedo bats. Now, the problem I have with this is that, they are available for most teams, but the Yankees are using them right now. And when the Yankees are using these bats, it is a clear sign to me that this is something that needs to be addressed right off the bat. It has to be an even playing field for everybody, whether it be for the Yankees, for the Dodgers, all the way down to the Pittsburgh Pirates and the Florida Marlins. It should be a clear rule that your bat should not be misformed than what it is already. I know you have MIT guys and people that have, looked up and have restructured bats, but this is something to me that kind of is in the line of cheating a little bit. If you've looked at the design of these bats and you've looked at what the power that they do to this bat does, it's proving that it's going to be to the hitter. Now, if all teams use this, it'll help. If this was done by the Reds or by the Tigers or by the Guardians, it wouldn't be a big of a push on this. And I understand that. But it's the New York Yankees that are using it. It's the New York Yankees. And the amount of output that they have put out in the last 3 games is raising a concern about these bats. So my question is to the MLB, what are we going to do about this? What are we going to do about it? We might have to, I hate to say this, but we might have to do a rule change in the middle of the season. And be on all the teams. I know that the Yankees organization is going to hate it. And I know that Atlanta is now looking into the bats situation. They're looking into getting those bats. If you put it for all the teams, all 32 teams in Major League Baseball to get these bats, to make it even playing field, I'm fine with it. But it's going to hurt the reputation for pitchers. I'm sure fans want to see home runs. Fans want to see big hits. Fans want to see how far that ball is going to fly. But the main goal of baseball is between the batter and the pitcher. And what happens in the defensive side. And the fact that this is happening now is an honest to God showing that there is a possibility that this is a sense of cheating. So MLB, what are we going to do about this? It's on you. So there's that. My other back page is this. God finds mysterious ways of helping people. It has helped me and my family out tremendously. And I was always brought up with the adage of saying it'll all work out in the end. And I think it's going to work out in the end for us and for all my problems and all the solutions are finally coming to head. So it's great to see. Let's keep the momentum going. We're going to be back on the air Thursday night for another edition of All Andy Alfred. Be safe out there. Of course, last night we had the storms that racked around the Northwest Ohio area. We're going to get another batch on Wednesday. Thursday night we'll have another edition of All Andy Alfred. It might be Thursday night. It might be also Friday. I don't know, but I'm leaning to Thursday for the weekend edition of All Andy Alfred. But it's been a fun time. We'll recap the Tigers series against Seattle, the Guardians series against the Padres, and preview their series going forward with the Angels for the Guardians and for the Tigers home opener Friday. So yeah, we'll definitely do it on Thursday to preview the Tiger home opener. Also, we'll look into the Reds as they're battling the Texas Rangers. Also, the Jackets, huge game tomorrow night against Nashville. Preview their game against Colorado and look at the walleye schedule going forward this weekend, as well as what's happening on the golf course as well. So that's going to wrap it up for All Andy Alfred tonight. I hope you enjoyed the podcast. If you haven't subscribed yet, hit the subscribe button. We do podcasts each week right here on the All Andy Alfred Network through Riverside Podcast and on the different platforms, whether it be Apple Music, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, Bleaker, however you listen to our show, wherever you listen to our show, as well as watch our show on YouTube. Subscribe on our YouTube channel as well too. We keep getting YouTube subscribers. We'll be bringing a live version on our YouTube channel. So keep subscribing on YouTube. So until I talk to you guys Thursday afternoon right here in the Man Cave Studios, this is Andy Alfred saying, I'm pulling for you. We're all in this together. The game of life. Keep your stick on the ice. And to the teams you root for at home, and to my game, go Jackets! Get the job done against Nashville tomorrow night. Go Walleye. Go Tigers. Go Reds. Go Guards. I Ziggy Zumba. And more birdies and less bogeys because victory is sweetest when you have tasted defeat. Have a great week, everybody. I'll talk to you Thursday for another edition of All Andy Alfred. Love you guys. Talk to you then.